Move over, Peoplekind. There's a new SJW word in town. It's Fisherfolks. And if you don't start using it, you could be a sexist caveman, cave person, cave people kind, cave folk.
Maternal love is the love that's going to change the future of mankind. So we'd like you to look
we like to say people kind, not necessarily mankind, because it's more inclusive.
There we go, exactly.
Remember that? Justin Trudeau cut off a young woman to correct her use of gendered language. You know, the left cries a lot about mansplaining to women, but that feels like actual mansplaining from a male feminist. Now, that was the same town hall where Justin Trudeau told an injured veteran that he was asking for more than this Liberal government was willing to give. There were a lot of gaffes that came from that town hall in Edmonton. Anyway, after the entire free world made fun of our sock spokesmodel prime minister for his use of a completely made-up word to avoid the crime of feminist wrong-speak, the Liberals tried to walk it all back and say that it was just a bad joke, poorly delivered by a nitwit with no comedic timing. Okay, I made up that last part, but it is still true. Some people were buying that lame Liberal excuse, but I certainly didn't. And yesterday, Liberal MP Francesco Sorbaro confirmed in his own ridiculous and humiliating way that there is an internal Liberal Party caucus war on gendered language. If you have any pride left as a Canadian, this next video I'm going to show you will take care of it, at least for a little while. But first, let me set it up for you. This fellow here, like I said, is the Liberal MP for Vaughan Woodbridge, Francesco Sorbaro. And if you go to his official MP page, he's got one of those standard pictures of him and Justin Trudeau exchanging a strong male gaze. It's so weird. The Liberals all have this picture of themselves with Trudeau in some form or another. It's sort of like a cult. And if the Liberal Party is indeed a cult, well, Sorbaro is a fully initiated member. Yesterday in the House of Commons, Sorbaro was speaking to the benefit of Canadian trade deals. Now, these little House of Commons speeches, they often get rambly and sometimes go right off the rails. But this speech went straight into Crazy Town. You have to see this. But first, prepare yourselves. Listen carefully to the made-up words Sorbaro uses to avoid using any sort of gendered language in his little soliloquy. Here.
Recently on a family vacation to Boston, I had a conversation with someone who would love, fisher folks would love to have access to Europe like our Canadian fisher folks do, excuse me. I grew up in Prince Rupert, British Columbia, and there's canneries and so forth, and I clean fish to pay for my university. And we have increased access for those fisher folks and those loggers.
Did you hear that? Sorbaro used the phrase fisherfolks instead of fishermen 3 times in the House of Commons. And then he even apologized for using the word fisherman accidentally when his brain and mouth didn't get the Liberal memo about masculine language being a hate crime or something. Sorbaro says he worked in a fish cannery at one point. Now, I'm pretty sure they did not discuss over buckets of fish guts how language is a tool of the patriarchy. This all proves that Trudeau's Peoplekind comment was no gaffe or no bad joke, the way the Liberals try to pass it off to us. It's literally internal caucus policy to fight gendered language as a tool of the patriarchy. These kooks, they'll be saying police folk and fire folk before we know it. That's the natural progression here. Do these Liberals think that women who fish for a living really give a rip about this stuff? It's like the Liberals have never met a woman who isn't a major in feminist interpretive basket weaving studies. I hunt and I fish. Actually, I'm probably better at telling fishing stories than I am at fishing. But I do spend a lot of time at sporting goods stores, obviously. Let me tell you, the patriarchal use of male gendered language isn't something we talk about down at the gun counter. Do the Liberals really think that women who defy gender norms by captaining fishing boats and doing it well are demanding special language to be used down on the wharf? I bet not. Those businesswomen are probably concerning themselves with real things like weather, what a carbon tax would add to the cost of marine fuel, and what the constant flushing of human sewage into Canada's waterways by progressive cities is doing to their fishing stocks. On the flip side, I sort of welcome this insanity, and not just for the endless comedic material that it gives me. The weirder the Liberals force themselves to speak, the more normal people get completely turned off by the craziness of it all. Now, if you'll excuse me, I need to take my recycling down to the road so that the garbage folk can pick it up. For the Rebel.media, I'm Sheila Gunn Reid. Have you signed my petition yet to this Liberal government? I'm calling on them to treat Canadian veterans and our active Canadian service members better than they treat fake refugees. To sign my petition and to see the full story of the cash benefits given to Syrian migrants, go to 50,000.ca.